Hi everyone! Welcome back or welcome to my channel. And why does my hair look like that? It's just big fluff. Okay, anyway. Thank you for coming back to my channel or coming to my channel for the first time. Welcome to Golden Reads. Anyway, I wanted to give you guys a quick update so far on what I've finished this week. Let's see. I finished 2 of my physical books, and then I have read a couple on my phone that were part of continuing series, but I plan to talk about them later on. So, the 2 books that I have finished so far this week. I finished The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I finished this Wednesday morning while I was at work. And then today, which today is Thursday, so it's the next day after I finish this one. I'm just really saying whack shit right now. Anyway, I finished Caught Up by Navessa Allen today. So let's talk about both of these books. I'll let you know, quick little rundown. The 7-Year Slip. It was very good. I really did like this. What did I rate it? Hold on. I wrote it down in my reading journal. Let me take a quick look real quick. Let's see. Yes, okay. I thought I had, but I just wanted to make sure. This received 5 stars from me. Now, it was almost more like a 4.75, but the ending just really kind of like saved it for me. It was so good. And honestly, it made me cry twice. Like the first time, I don't even know why it was making me upset. It just was. And then I cried again towards the end. So it's probably not something that would normally make people cry, but sometimes I can just really be an emotional reader. And it made me emotional. It was really good though. I don't stray from what I was saying before for the beginning of this book. The female main character was really just, she was annoying me. You know, she was like, oh, I was told never to do this, so I can't do this. And she was just, you know, denying herself. And I was like, come on. Like it's your life. Just only you can walk the path you're gonna walk. Like, don't let somebody else who gave you advice about something really shape what you end up doing. Like, because in the end, they're not living through it. You are. So even if the advice was somewhat sound or not sound or whatever, like, just because the advice was given to you doesn't mean you have to take it. And like, really, in the end, you just have to live your life. And if you're comfortable going by that advice and maybe not doing something because that was the advice given, fine. But are you going to be able to live with yourself and the what ifs if you didn't take the chance of doing something because of the advice you were given? So anyway, she got better as we went along. And the main male character, I really liked him. At first, when we started like seeing him again, like in her present, I was like, oh my gosh, is he really gonna be like this? Like, I know as people grow up, they lose a little bit of their idealism about what they're going to do with their life and like how they're gonna live and all that. But he just seemed to like completely almost back away from that. Like, he kept like small little aspects of it, but the rest of the time he just seemed to just shy away from being as optimistic as he was before. I don't know, I don't want to say too much and like give too much away, but it was really good. I really ended up enjoying it at the end. You know, the female main character kind of redeemed herself in my eyes. by how she was acting and what she was doing by the end of the book. She redeemed herself, you know? So I really liked it in the end. 5-star read for me. Even though, like, if I really had to come down hard and really crack down on the rating, it would probably actually move down a little bit, like I said, to 4.75. But overall, we can round that up, 5 stars. So I'm actually, I'm interested in reading more of this author, Ashley Poston, because this was the first book I have read from her, and I liked it. And honestly, I really liked the journey and the growth that I saw through her characters, so I'm definitely interested in reading more. Now, Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. This book sent me really up and down, and I was getting mad, and then I was like, okay, and then I was mad again, and then I was like frustrated, and this female main character, she really drove me up a wall. Like, Junior was pretty consistent through the book, but he did have some points of growth and like realizing how he had been and realizing that he was going to need to change that if he was going to be with the FMC, by the end of the book. So I did see some growth in him. The FMC, Lord have mercy, she did all this and that and all this talking about how, and all this just about how, I don't know, just about how she was, and she, in her inner like thoughts and stuff, she liked to say how she was above that, and like she wouldn't act like that or lose her temper or whatever and all this stuff. But anytime something remotely started to go wrong, she would back off. She would get mad. She would start assuming things. She would let her thoughts race to like some of the worst possibilities, and she would already make a decision based on her assumptions and what she could imagine and say, oh, see, I knew I shouldn't have given him a chance. He burned it, blah, blah, blah. And yes, he did keep some secrets from her, and she has a right to be upset about that. But the fact that she straight away went to, oh, he did this horrible thing, now I have to lash back out at him and not actually talk to him, that is the most temper tantrum, toddler throwing. She totally showed that she wasn't mature as she said she was, and it really just pissed me off, because you would have thought after the first time that she did that she would have reminded herself, hey, don't act like this. You need to talk to him about it first, because the last time you assumed something like that, you had this whole argument and went on for days, and then when you finally talked to him, you realized that it wasn't all like you thought it was, and that there were other circumstances you didn't know about. But no, she went total scorched earth again for a second time, or maybe it was a third time. And totally turned on him and was like, you did this, didn't you? Tell me you didn't. And she really just drove me kind of nuts, like right up until the end, where she really actually listened to him and to everything he was saying, because she was finally giving him a chance to actually talk and tell her how everything went down, which she wasn't letting him do the first time. And yes, he had some not so great moments too. There was a little bit of toxicity in there, but in the end, they finally got it worked out. And, she named her flaws about how she gets too worked up and too worried, and then she assumes the worst, and then gets mad about it and reacts about that instead of the actual facts, and not without knowing what happened, So she admitted it towards the end of the book, after their last argument, and was like, I'm sorry that I've done this again, I've just like basically been conditioned to think that everybody is going to leave and, you know, nobody's really going to stay. And, you know, she's not wrong. She was pretty much conditioned like that because of everybody in her life. You know, not her grandparents, but everybody else in her life. She was pretty much conditioned to think that everybody was going to end up betraying her in some way. And she didn't want to be hurt like that, which is why she assumed stuff so quickly, didn't give anybody a chance to explain themselves, and then busted out of there and never talked to him again. So, you know, she has some of her own issues she still has to deal with. But, and honestly, I was also really excited to learn a little bit more about Tyler. Yes, the roommate, who is going to be the main character of the third book. I'm really looking forward to reading that because, you know, I've read the synopsis and it sounded interesting. I would like to read it, and then getting like a little glimpse, excuse me, of their interactions at the end. Very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, so, but I think overall, I rated this like 3 stars, and I could be a little more generous and say it's like 3.5, but I wouldn't give it more than that. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't. You know, I mean, there was some stuff that I liked better, and then there was some stuff I didn't really enjoy. But yeah, overall, the book was good. I was glad to see more of Allie and Josh from the first book. It was also interesting seeing the Trocky brothers' relationship throughout the book, and how they were all dealing with, you know, basically being forced in to work for their dad like they were. But overall, I just wasn't like super impressed by the book, but I did enjoy reading it, you know, to find out what happened and, you know, just the continuation of the story. I enjoyed it for that. And there were also a couple of other things I enjoyed about the book. Like I said, the brothers' interactions, the friends' interactions with the main female, you know, I enjoyed their interactions. But yeah, it just wasn't something that really impressed me that much. So I gave it 3 stars. But I am interested in getting to the next one when it comes out. Or did it come out this month? Or is it next month? I have to look it up because I can't remember now. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. And now that I've spent the past, what is that? Like 11 or 12 minutes talking about just those 2 books. The last books I need to read for my March TBR, I need to finish Under the Dome by Stephen King. I haven't read any more of that. I need to read Awake by Jen Hatmaker and The Ensemble by Aja Gabel. Honestly, I think I'm going to start with Awake by Jen Hatmaker next. Just because I haven't read a memoir before, and I'm kind of interested how I'm going to like it and if I'm really going to like it. So anyway, I'm planning on taking it to work tonight, and if I'm having a really hard time getting into it, then I'm just gonna put it aside and start The Ensemble. But I am also gonna take Under the Dome by Stephen King with me. I'm probably gonna leave it in my car, but I'm gonna start reading Awake by Jen Hatmaker tonight. And honestly, it's fairly short. The book is sitting over there, so I can't actually look at how many pages it has, but I think it has like 200 and some pages. I'm pretty sure it's under 300 pages, so it's not super long, or it might be right around 300 pages, but anyway, it's not super long. So, and honestly, it sounds good, and I'm excited to read it and see if I like it. You know, maybe there'll be more memoirs to read in my future if I like it. you know, maybe I'll try out some others. But yeah, so I'm planning on reading that next. I haven't read any more in The Secret Garden, although I do want to try and finish that this week also. That way it's just kind of like off the palette. That way, you know, if I only end up finishing like one other book and I don't like finish the ensemble or Under the Dome by the end of the month, you know, I'd like to keep those like on my, you know, reading list. And I'll just kind of do like what I've been doing with Caught Up and The Secret Garden. You know, I'll just be reading them a little bit at a time with my other books from my next TBR. But I would like to go on ahead and finish up The Secret Garden so that it's not still up there. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna start Awake next, and maybe I'll be able to give an update later this weekend about finishing it. I would like to try and finish Awake and the ensemble and then give another short update on that. And, you know, hopefully I'll only have Under the Dome to finish. But yeah. So yeah, that's all I have for the updates. Okay, everyone. So I need to give a quick update. I've got 2 updates. You guys know I did finish Caught Up from last month that I didn't finish. And I also finished one of my books from this month, The 7-Year Slip. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, sorry, I just ate a snack. And then I had Awake by Jen Hatmaker to finish, Under the Dome by Stephen King, and The Ensemble by Aja Gabel. Now, I was also still listening to the audio of Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I would like to update that I have finally finished that on the last day of the month. It only took me 2 months to listen to, but honestly, once I got to about 50% of listening to the book, it finally got better. You know, so much of the book was, or at least so much, the first half of the book was, you know, was pretty much going between Sabine and Alice and wondering how they were going to end up intersecting. And then once you got to about halfway and you saw how Sabine interacted with Charlotte, and then how Charlotte and you know, in the end, it was really a crazy twist. Honestly, I think my favorite character is Alice. I don't, yeah, it just, the book was crazy. But honestly, for me, even though the ending shocked me a little bit, and even though I definitely got more interested in it towards the second half of the book, I would really say that the book is really just a 3.5 stars for me. It was a good book. I liked the writing style. I liked how it switched back and forth and you kind of went chronologically, but also not chronologically. I liked, you know, switching back and forth between the timelines, but I also didn't like it. I don't know. I liked a lot. Well, I don't know if I liked a lot, but I liked a good number of things from the book, but I also didn't like a number of things from the book. So it was really just a mixed bag for me. So that is my first big update. My second big update, as of right now, because I was so focused on finishing the audio for Bury My Bones in the Midnight Soil. I mean, honestly, I really just wanted to get it done with. I didn't want it to keep looming over me and keep listening to like 5% or 10% at a time. Anyway, I have gotten to page 101 in Awake by Jen Hatmaker. It is very good so far. It's very interesting, and a couple of the points she makes in the book about her actions and her thought process and the things she's going through. Like, obviously, I know that, you know, to a certain degree, she's leaving some out because she does have, Jen Hatmaker has kids, so she wants to leave some of that out to preserve their privacy. But it's just, it's really making me think, and it's very interesting to read so far. I would like to finish it today. I'm probably not going to be able to read anymore right now, or yeah, I'll be reading some later today when I'm at work, because I have to go to work tonight, which is why I'm filming this real quick before I try to get some sleep. And there's a good chance that I could either finish this or get very close to finishing it tonight. Or I guess, you know, finishing it or very close to finishing it by the time I get off work in the morning. But it's a very breezy and easy read, I guess you could say. The timeline does flip back and forth a little bit, but it's usually pretty noticeable when the time flips. But the flow of the story is good. I like it. Or I guess it's not really a story. I mean, it's a memoir, so it's like a version of a story, but it's, you know, real life. Anyway, I'm very much liking it, and I am excited to keep reading it and finishing it. Yeah, like I said, I haven't read any more in Under the Dome. I'm still 19 pages into it, and I haven't started the ensemble. So, and I also, if you guys are still interested, I haven't finished The Secret Garden either. I've been consumed, basically, the last like 2 to 3 days, reading little bits of this and then listening to the audio for Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. So, yeah. I would like to finish Awake, and then I would like to go on ahead and finish reading The Secret Garden, so it's out of the way. And then I do want to continue trying to read Under the Dome and the ensemble. And yeah, besides that, I'm excited to start next month's TBR. Sorry, I know I look kind of weird doing that. I did also read quite a few books on my Kindle app this month. I think I actually ended up reading like 4 or 5 books that came out for a few different series that are ongoing. I had a bunch of books come out this month, more than I realized for a continuing series. But yeah, I could always give you guys a detailed rendering of that later if you would like. So yeah, I hope in this video you have enjoyed my updates. If you would like to hear more thoughts on any of the books I mentioned, leave a comment, and I don't mind doing a little short 5-10 minute video. Well, probably more like 10 minutes because I just can't stop yapping. But if you want to know anything specifically of my thoughts or what I thought, you know, okay, that my thoughts are what I thought, that's the same thing. if you want to know anything else, leave a comment. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed my updates for this end of March. I am very proud of myself because I was able to finish 3 books, and I finished almost half of the 4th one for the month. So you know what? I'm pretty happy. I hope you've enjoyed my updates. Like I said, leave a comment if you want to know more, or if you want me to do like a separate video about a certain book. I'd be happy to. So, okay. Bye, guys. Enjoy.